What's up guys, Sub-Zero here, back for another VOD review. Today we are VOD reviewing an old friend of ours. Maybe if you guys are new viewers to this channel, you've actually never seen me VOD review this player before, which is kind of crazy to think about. But this is XunGe, former world champion, former winner of Chinese regionals, went on one of the most dominant runs a TFT player has ever gone on, very similar to kind of like Malala's run in set 10. But yeah, just one of the goats of Chinese TFT. And I want to VOD review him because, as the meta is getting developed, we're seeing less and less like, okay, here's this like crazy tech that comes out. We understand things like Bar, things like, the Piltover stuff, things like, Draven Fast 9 and things like that. And so I wanted to start moving into some of these more kind of niche comps, how to play them, what spots you should be playing them in. And XunGe played one of these more niche comps that I think is really fun to talk about. Do start here with the Viego 2. I'm actually quite shocked that he even cares that much about Viego 2 because I think a lot of people are pretty low on this on the Shadow Owls line. Maybe if you get the hero augment for it, you can play it, and that would be the spot for it, I guess. But aside from that, nothing too crazy. Do get dropped a Twisted Fate here, and obviously we do have the Caitlyn pair here, if we're thinking about, Piltover type stuff. So lots to consider here. But we see Patience is a virtue. This augment... Here, editing magic. Well, not actually editing, but this is Leap of Faith. I want to pull this up because I think there are a lot of people, myself included, I have not taken this augment yet, this set so far, but it's the Illaoi here augment. Gain Illaoi, your strongest Illaoi becomes a fighter. Her ability is replaced with an airborne slam that recasts when she hits her target. So she becomes one of these fighters. So that is Leap of Faith, and then obviously crafting here. XunGe, he sees the Leap of Faith, and he immediately commits to it because we already have that Illaoi pair in this spot here. So we are playing Leap of Faith Illaoi here, and already an interesting decision, but one that I think makes perfect sense here, is we opt to level here, and we're going to slam items on Twisted Fate. Now, the item slam on Twisted Fate makes sense. We want to unlock graves so we can start getting these shops from Bilgewater. But the level here, normally when you take a hero augment like this, a 1-cost hero augment, your plan is, well, I'm going to hit Illaoi 3 as quickly as possible. So I'm just going to sit on level 3, maybe roll it down 3-1 to hit everything. But, you're not going to level here, of course, because you don't want to you don't want to ruin your odds of finding 1-cost. And actually, wow, this is really wild from XunGe. He has the gold for it, and he actually double pumps his XP here, goes for the Giga pre-level, the 5 on 2-2. Wow. But just goes to show how little he values these shop odds for Illaoi. He is going to buy, of course, the first one's free, and then move these items over to Illaoi, which is, the real place that these items are going to sit here. The board is fantastic on 5 here. This is his idea, is that he wants to be as strong as possible right here, make sure he's winning all these fights. He actually rotates into another level 5 board. What is going on in this lobby? Everybody just with the econ from the openers is off to level. This person's spot is going to suck now because they leveled to 5 and lost here. But XunGe feeling pretty good about at least taking the win here. And he can, start looking at making gold sooner rather than later here. And here's the idea, is he picks up the first Illaoi from his Bilgewater shop, is that you don't actually need to roll for Illaoi in this comp. You're playing Bilgewater, so what you can do is you can just tempo this Illaoi to... I've seen people even just play Illaoi 2 the entire game and feel very, very good about that. But the other thing that you can do is you can just play around this Illaoi 2 and then use Bilgewater shops, use Illaois from those Bilgewater shops to find Illaoi 3, especially, Bilgewater duplicators as well. And you don't have to roll a single time to pick up this Illaoi 3. The other nice thing is she is a lot of tempo early. That's, one of the big reasons to play this hero augment, is that just this Illaoi 2 with anything slammed. You saw we even made Even Shroud here, which is, not an item it's not an Illaoi carry item. It's an item that's going to have to sit onto Illaoi for now, but eventually we want to move this over to Nautilus. We even take Tear off Carousel as well, which is just taking us further and further away of actually having Illaoi items. But I do really like the Even Shroud slam here, because it goes to that idea of, getting something slammed, not necessarily saying, okay, well, maybe we could hold these components, we could hold Even Shroud for BT, something like that. We could hold on to all of this stuff. No, we don't go for that. We just say, we're going to make the slam that's going to make us the strongest right now, play for our win streak, get all these Silver Serpents stacked up, and also just a bunch of gold for win streaking. And yeah, put ourselves into a fantastic spot for the early game. Going to pick up this duplicator here just because we know we definitely want that, either for Illaoi 3, or you could even reroll the other guys. I'm apprehensive about that idea. I imagine it's going to be more of like an Illaoi and then push levels type idea, but we will see. So yeah, you can see this Illaoi unit just kind of she's quite tanky and she does a lot of damage with this ult here. This is why people actually rate this this hero augment quite highly. I mean, watching this early game and a lot of early games that I've seen other people playing with this, you can see why, right? She's just an absolute monster in the early game with this setup here. And yeah, the easy 5 streak here on just a few upgrades here. Smart step by XunGe here just to field the double Illaoi here, just saying, yes, we will probably hold on to this Viego, but there's a world where maybe we want to sell him for econ here, so we might as well bench him here to give ourselves the opportunity to sell him to make gold. And yeah, he gets perfectly rewarded for it. He does sell and make gold here. Had he not benched that Viego, he wouldn't have been able to do that. That's actually just a really, really nice clean play, something that you see a lot of people do, is, bench the units that they're not 100% sure that you want to hold on to. Obviously, you're going to hold on to the Illaois, the Bilgewater units, the Shen as well. All right, here's another cool play from XunGe here saying, okay, let's look at our spot here actually before we even start this roll down, because it's quite important actually. You look at your spot here. He also does still have all this stuff in. I don't know why he's got the Piltover board still in Team Planner. That would tilt me, but he's fine with it. Right now, we are Graves pair, Twisted Fate pair, and we're also looking for extra stuff to play, right? We just sold our Quick Striker, actually, so we'd actually like to roll down to find these upgrades and maybe something else to play here. We do have this Jhin that we can play as well here, but yeah, let's roll down here. We pick up an Ari here. We do also have a lot of the other Bilgewater stuff in shop. Oh my god, that's a misfortune! So now we have that immediately. That is going to be huge for us, and we're actually fielding double Illaois right now. We're going to make BT here as the Illaoi slam here, and also slams the blue buff onto Illaoi, which I love. Once again, is just kind of one of these, like, in a pinch, we're going to make this slam here. It's not going to stay on Illaoi the whole game. Eventually, it can move over to Misfortune as a mana gen item, but it's an item for Illaoi, right? Which is what matters, is getting item slammed. And the BT is actually, more towards the BIS, what you actually want on a fighter like Illaoi here. I don't know how I feel about. I never see people take this one, the one that makes your units dash to them. I mean, Illaoi already dashes because she leaps after getting a kill, so I imagine it's not bad. The sword to me seems fine. Don't really want to take this one. Mess Hall sounds interesting. I mean, not really great with the Illaoi, but just okay in general. But yeah, we do end up taking the sword augment here. This is just going to put us into a pretty good spot for being able to itemize everyone. And because we found the Misfortune, now we can buy the Nautilus in shop, and we can field 5 Bilge here. So I mean, a really, really smart 3-1 roll down that allowed us to stabilize the board, and I mean, does open up the possibility of finding more Illaois, right? Had we found, another Illaoi or two, then we would be that much closer to Illaoi 3. We do still have this Bilgewater dupe here, so we're not that far from Illaoi 3, even at this point here, without really rolling that much. And the roll on 6 was the really interesting thing, but it gave us better odds of finding stuff like Graves 2, stuff like Twisted Fate 2, and once again, you're really not that concerned about the Illaoi odds when you're playing this augment. You're concerned about your odds of hitting everything else and spiking your board. We're getting close to the possibility of going for a Graves 3. We'll see if he wants to do it. I mean, I'm kind of the opinion that this Misfortune unit, you get to like a Misfortune 2, and she's quite close to Graves 3, sometimes better than Graves 3. So we will see. Moving over to the next VOD here, because this website is just weird, where it like splits the VODs up. But fine, we are here, and looking like we are not that interested in going for this Graves 3 idea here, which makes sense, right? The other thing is that like it's going to be quite difficult for you to hit both Illaoi 3 and Graves 3 using the dupes, right? You can't double one dupe, one units is how duplicators work in general. And so it would be quite awkward for us to actually, because we're probably going to use these dupes onto Illaoi. All right, no IE component left over. We can just take belts here for Morello, throw this onto the Misfortune for now, and feel good about it. Could also even, I mean, Twisted Fate 2, you probably actually throw it onto the TF. I'm actually not 100%. We are going to level here. He's going to make Sterax, actually, for the Illaoi here. Yeah, not worry about the Morello. Says this is a very, very solid sword item that we can make onto the Illaoi. Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, as far as Illaoi itemization goes, I can actually pull up, let me pull up stats. So I'm not even going to filter for Illaoi 3 here, just because, I mean, who's to say if you ever get there. If you do, let's throw an Illaoi 3-star just to give us like some color. But the main idea is these bruiser type items. She can use Titan's Resolve totally fine, but it's not really that necessary onto her. If you look at kind of like individual items, it looks like okay along with all of these other items. It's kind of interesting. You can see a lot of the stats, say like putting these type of items onto her is positive delta. what this usually means is that this is more of a tempo idea, right? You're going to put these items onto her, and then we eventually can move them. Stuff like Infinity Edge. Do we really want that on Illaoi late game, or do we want that on Misfortune too? Oftentimes, this item's going to end up on Misfortune too. But this can be a good spot to put your items for the mid game, the BT Stair Axe here, which we've already made, and then Titans for CC immunity, i.e. just to get her critting, doing more damage with these ults. So yeah, this is the idea. So yeah, just pretty standard, I would say, like fighter itemization here. The Titan Resolve is interesting to me because she's not really an auto attack based unit here. She's more of a caster, but the CC immunity has got to be pretty good in allowing her to not just get stunned while she's sitting on the front line. So makes sense. We did push to 7, so we have Fizz unlocked. Once again, we are not worried at all. Okay, here's actually a quite crucial thing that that XunGe does here is we have 5 Bilge in here. Normally what you'll do when you're playing Bilge is you'll try to get your Bilge rerolls at the highest possible Bilgewater level. You want to be looking for things like Bilgewater items. Eventually 7 Bilgewater, feeling really good about that, which we're actually 1 GP off actually having. We could field 7 Bilgewater this turn here after picking up the Gangplank here, but XunGe's not actually going to do that here. He's going to drop down to 3 Bilgewater here and then spend a whole refresh on looking at 3 Bilgewater. Why would he do this when he could actually field 7 this turn and, play for, Bilgewater items and max cap? I mean, his idea is we're 2 Illaois plus Duplicator here, and 3 Bilgewater is really what allows you to get the units, right? There's so much higher chances of you actually seeing units on 3 Bilgewater than 5 and 7 Bilgewater. So that's the idea, is we're actually going to drop down to 3 Bilge, use it to find our upgrades. We still need Nautilus 2. This is a huge upgrade for our board. We still Gangplank 2 would be fine, but the other big thing is finding stuff like Illaoi. So we're going to pick up this, and then boom, that's an Illaoi. Another refresh. There's a Bilgewater Duplicator there as well. So this is the idea, and it makes perfect sense, right? We are now insanely close to Illaoi 3. We are legit just 1 Illaoi off once we pick up this Bilgewater Duplicator here. And he does also tech up to 7 Bilge for the fight, because you do still get a lot more stacks from playing 7 Bilge per round than from playing 3. So just a really nice... This Bilgewater trade, honestly, Riot Games kind of did an amazing job with it. This idea where you can like tech in and out of stuff. Boom, boom, roll, roll. He's actually going to roll one more time here just to see. And then, wow, he's digging really deep with the stats here. It's interesting because he can just double dupe here. This almost looks like he's, really looking toward saving one of these dupes. If you find a Illaoi that allows you to save a dupe for maybe like a Nautilus 3 or something like that. But now he's kind of broke in terms of Silver Serpents. So I imagine you do just have to make the double dupe here. We do make it. We are going to finally make that Morello. And then Gwynsu's Rage Blade is just a secondary item onto MF. Kind of a funny little combination. Gwynsu blue buff. The items don't like play that well off of each other. But, good enough here. Once again, that's the moral of the story is, make good enough items. But now we have this Illaoi 3, which is going to stabilize us a lot. Early stage 4. Once we get to like late stage 4, early stage 5, that's when Illaoi is going to start falling off. But once again, we got it for free, right? We didn't really have to roll at all. We rolled a little bit on 3-1 on level 6 odds. We did not have to, really grief our econ, roll really, really deep on like something like level 4, level 5 here. All right, last augment here. It's kind of interesting. Growth Mindset could, allow us to push levels really, really hard. Actually make it to level 9 here, because we're actually in a broke spot in terms of Silver Serpents, but a pretty good spot in terms of econ. I'm really tempted by something like Giant and Mighty here. You have this Illaoi 3 with Bruiser in. I would be tempted by something like this. And then the Soul Awakening, this one's called. It sounds okay to me. I don't know. I mean, I think the stats say that this, because I think Mortdog said the Mortdog stats for this were quite good, but I just don't know if it really makes that much sense to me in this spot. But we'll see. Yeah, he is okay. So he looks at. He's looking towards Growth Mindset here, right? That's the last one he rolls. But then he sees actually the Double Band of Thieves augment, and then opts to take that here just to itemize more units. It's kind of interesting, actually. And wow, he's really playing, for all these rerolls. But he rolls, finds Pile O Citrus at this point here. And now we can start accruing our rolls back up here, our Bilgewater Silver Serpents up to pick up that Palo Citrus. A great first item to pick up, can go into the Thomas Kench and do a lot of work here. Yeah, the THGs, it's interesting to me because, like, I'm not really jumping for... I mean, the thing is, we have triple item MF, triple item Illaoi, so these TGs are sitting on, right now, kind of okay units. He does pick up the Pilo Citrus. My God, we are actually so we actually had more Silver Serpents than even I realized. But yeah, we can pick that up, throw that onto the Nautilus here. We're on our way to the Thomas Kench as well. The other thing is obviously this was our first item that we built here. Our first Bilgewater item. So it's pretty cheap. As far as Silver Serpents come. We are finally going to take our first loss. Like I said, Scomp's going to start falling off a bit this stage. I mean, it's 1 cost reroll, so obviously, you're going to start falling off, stage 4, early stage 5, and we take our first loss there on, still a pretty good board, but also pretty greedy from an econ standpoint, right? We don't have Misfortune 2 yet. We don't have Fizz 2, so a lot of stuff left for us to find as far as upgrades go. Speaking of stuff left to find here, we do kind of just have to figure out where the rest of our item components are going to go to, especially because, once again, we do have... we got a lot going on here in terms of items, right? We have the double TGs here. We have all of the Illaoi items made here. We have, these backline items onto Misfortune here. We have the next Bilgewater item coming. So there's a lot going on here. He's also going to move the Pilo Citrus over to the TK, which he does just buy one random. I think there was a stat upgrade that we grabbed here just so that we can have the TK here, which makes sense. That is a T-Hex level 9 on 4-5. So we're certainly not going to be... Level 9 T-Hex Renekton 2. I mean, their triple econ augment, I guess, is how they made it there. But that is quite wild. But okay, we're going to pick up our extra TG here, continue to feed the Thomas Kench here. He's going to actually throw this onto Graves for now. I thought we were just going to throw it onto a frontliner just because I don't think... I mean, these are more damage-oriented items, but it's just kind of funny that, is Graves going to do all that much here? Graves 2? I don't know. Another T-Hex board. This guy at least doesn't have the T-Hex 2-star, so we'll see what our board can do versus that. We got onto the T-Hex, and yeah, we are just going to clear this guy. Really nice pickup for us to beat this guy here, who, yeah, just not really strong enough at this point to defeat our board, which is nice. And at this point, we can start, just aggressively looking towards going 9 here. We're also just playing 3 Bruiser. It's kind of funny because, normally in this comp, you're cutting Illaoi for the Volibear, and so, you're usually just playing 2 Bruiser, just the 5 costs. But in this setup, actually, we're playing 3 Bruiser. We'll see where he wants to go from this spot. Okay, whoa. Let's talk about items and a giant prismatic orb here. So he really values this Titan's Resolve here. It's a good last item to Illaoi. Remember that Even Shroud has sat on Illaoi the entire game, and now we can finally move it. So we will make Titans here, and then we can just make Deathblade as well here. Gets a giant Econ Orb, which means we have to go 9 this round and start rolling here and seeing what we're going to fit onto this board here. Hold on to the Swain here. We're also, going to cut, and this is around when, yes, we will start dropping lower into Bilgewater, right? You don't want to be playing these Bilgewater the entire game here. He would like to make the DV onto the MF here, but sadly, we... have triple item onto her, and we'll see where ideally blue buff ends up on the TK, I would think, which maybe means the Even Shroud moves over to Nautilus is the idea. We do have 3 removers, so we can still do a lot there. And he is playing the 4 Bruiser with the Wukong here. Does find Misfortune 2 in the build shop, but doesn't have enough gold to find her. Does pick up Wukong 2, going to continue to roll down. Does pick up Volibear 2, which is huge here, and TK 2. Oh my God. And still not enough time to move the DV. Oh, okay. Little APM diff for our boy XunGe here. And then, to complete the board, we do just have, right now, we're still playing 5 Bilge. Usually this Graves is going to end up coming out for a Lucian Senna. Once again, it's funny because, normally you're cutting Illaoi late game and just playing 3 Bilge with Misfortune, with the TK, and then with the Nautilus. We'll see how he wants to fit stuff. I mean, you could also, you could even just drop down to 4 here. I wouldn't hate it. We do still have this Deathblade sitting here. Okay, so we are going to go for this here. Must be move Even Shroud, right? And then blue buff the TK. Morello Wukong. I mean, he has a big AoE. Okay, I don't hate it. I think I like blue buff on TK better, but I don't hate it. He does spread it to a lot of the front line, and he does, he'll die and then come back. But that's why I feel like ore items, whatever. It's an interesting idea. At this point, we are getting kind of capped on our items. So we just, we can look for extra Wukong items, something like Declaw. We can take GS here, though. Once again, where is this going? Because we could move MF items up again. But we could finally move the blue buff up. But, okay. I don't know if I can co-sign this one, XunGe. like I said, when I do a VOD review, I will always he actually techs down to 5 to look for, maybe that was a dupe and upgrade. I don't actually know why he teched out of 5 there, because I would think, you know, the last thing, I guess he's looking for stats at this point. Doesn't really care about items. We're never going to buy another item at this point, so might as well look for stats. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, makes a lot of sense here, actually. But yeah, I try to default to, you know, the player on VOD reviewing is always correct, because I think that is a good practice when VOD reviewing. Okay, and now he's actually rolling on 5 here, so he's just being a little inconsistent there, which is kind of interesting. But I don't know if I can co-sign this Wukong build. It's I mean, we can look at how much damage he's doing, but I feel like you know, maybe that I mean, and you don't really need the blue buff onto the misfortune, but whatever. But I mean, the big thing to take away here is, look at what our board is doing. This Illaoi 3 is actually doing a lot of work, a lot of damage. She was most damage dealt on that board here. We've made it to level 9 still. Once again, we didn't have to spend a bunch of gold on lower levels, you know, rolling really, really deep for Illaoi. We just were allowed to essentially fast 9 and pick up the Illaoi 3, which is huge here. This is, you know, why this hero augment is so good, because you can do stuff like this. And now our last person that we have to face is a ginormous T-Hex board. We will see if we can be strong enough to beat that guy, because that's going to be quite scary here. All right, let's pick up another gold orb. I mean, the nice thing is we're on our way to 10, but the not nice thing is this guy's already 10. We are going to pick up an extra item here. Yeah, finally just make an actual tank item onto Wukong here. And we will pick it up there. This guy, oh my god, he's picking up so many upgrades. Has 6 Renekton's, right? Has 7 Skarners? Is that actually... No, that's... I'm seeing a 0-2 on the bench. I mean, that guy has a lot of gold. We didn't actually end up hitting, you know, everything. He hasn't actually, you know, won out yet. Though... This fight looks pretty rough. We just weren't able to kill the T-Hex quickly enough. We did farm, wow, another blue buff, or Hodge, actually, if we wanted here. We are going to level up finally. Holding on to Kindred here, who's an interesting extra in here. I would think just something like Fiddlesticks. Or yeah, actually, even this guy would be better. Skarner actually seems quite nice here. Going to move items all around. So, okay, now I like this a lot better. Yeah, move some of these damage items over to the Volibear here. Hodge, GS, and then, you know, throw the Morello back onto the Wukong. Morello Wukong, I mean... Honestly, I can see it. I can see it. But yeah, now we actually have some real damage items onto the Volibear, which is a big upgrade. Sadly, our TK didn't take aggro until the fight was essentially over here, so our backline kind of got wrecked here. I think we kind of need our TK into a spot where he's actually going to take aggro here. And we do farm another item. Oh my god, we are just an embarrassment of wealth here. We do find the Lucian Senna finally, which, like we talked about, is going to be the replacement here. And yeah, we can now move the MF items over there and then just put the... Bilgewater item onto Misfortune. Okay, that is, oh my god, that's 2 T-Hexes and 1 off Renekton 3 for this player that we're fighting. It's pretty scary, though our board did just get a lot stronger, so we'll see. Maybe we can actually win this fight. TK, at least tanking a good bit. I mean... I think the T-Hexes might be too powerful here. Is there a Renekton to deny off Carousel? No. But we can just yoink. We still, you know, now we're kind of looking for more Lucian Senna / MF items, but there weren't any on Carousel, which is a little bit sad. I guess we could move Adaptive down, but we can't because we don't have the ability to. We don't have the removers, so we're just gonna have to Bramble Vest onto the this guy. All right, no 3 stars hit from the enemy, which is pretty good here. So we will see if we can pick this fight up. Once again, they're 12 HP, so if we win a fight, it's over. Oh my god, wait, they're eating a Sand Soldier. Wait, that was actually really interesting tech here, where the TX eats the Sand Soldier to make it a little bit tankier there. Oh my god, it's just the TX, the double TXs. I mean, life, death taxes, and losing to T-Hex in current year. But yeah, actually, let me look back at this. They ate a Sand Soldier, right? I didn't even think about that as a potential tech, but yeah, they're eating Sand Soldier here, and then this one's obviously eating the Caitlyn. Well, either way, really cool game from XunGe. Hope you guys enjoyed, as always. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Twitch for Metafile, the links down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, as always.